Welcome, everybody. It's a beautiful day in the villages. Thank you to all the Arizona people who got up extra early to come and visit us today at 8 o'clock in the morning. This is Dawn's Level 2, the easy players. I love teaching this class. We're doing a fabulous song today, Can't Help Falling in Love. We are using the Lowry Black Songbook, and we have graduated from all the colors. The second half of the book takes away the colors, and we are now learning new chords, and we are also learning to read the C, the F, and the G just in a box without the color. Now, that being said, if you still like the colors, please feel free to pick up a colored pencil and color them in. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Cheating is 100% okay to do. So if you really like having the red, blue, and green, just make sure all the F's get blue. You know, you don't want to do something different. All the G's get green, and just color them in. We have lots of chords for Can't Help Falling in Love. And I did hand out to you a chord chart a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it was last week already. Time flies by so quickly. Here comes Jo, so we'll let her in. If you need one, please, please, please email me at 5028@fletchermusic.com, or go to Patreon and check out some of the previous classes that may have had that as an attachment, because I think you'll find that the chord charts that I made up for people are very helpful. It gives the chords in the order that I want you to play your fingers. For example, A minor. Let's just review the minor chords. Now remember, what I don't want you to do is say, today I'm going to learn all my minor chords. Don't do that. Learn them as they show up in your music. That's the best way to learn them. But the chord charts I give you will have everything in the right finger order. All right, here's the keyboard. Let's see if we can get that a little straighter. All right. C, F, and G, this is where your hand goes. You never ever want to go below the red C, okay? So your pinky is going to stay here all the time. It's never going to go below that. You can always go up to the A. If you need the A, your thumb can reach, and if you need the B, your thumb can reach. Now, you never need to go above the B either. So for all intents and purposes, all easy play chords can be played right here. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and the 5 black keys in between. There is a rule for the minor chords, because music is mathematical. Every minor chord is found by finding the letter. Let's just go to that third chord in Can't Help Falling in Love. It's D minor. Whoops, let's turn off the background. The letter plus 3. Oh, here comes Glenn. Plus 3. 1, 2, 3. Now you have to count the black ones too. Did you hear the change in the tonality? You can't just try to get by with just a D, because D sounds like this. D minor sounds like this. Wow, it's quite a difference, isn't it? Yes. Minor chords are that somber, scary movie music, sad, that gives it that minor quality. So you need to play the minor chords. And how do you know? Because the little m is in the box with the letter. If it's in the box, you must play the 2-fingered chord of a minor chord. Now let's go backwards to that A minor chord. Now remember, your fingers have to stay right here. So this is an A minor, and it looks like I'm going to end up going outside my box. If I start on A, and I go 3 up the keyboard, 1, 2, yep, I have to go out of the box to the C that's underneath here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that C and put it back in the box. And then I'm going to play it where my hand is positioned. Your pinky's already on the C. So your thumb's just going to reach up and grab the A. Why do I not want to go backwards here or forward here? Because then I have to look to get my hand back in position. If I can just play it in this wide position, pinky on C, thumb on A, then I don't have to look. And that's the whole idea of getting your left hand really solid. And the left hand, we never want to give the left hand a choice. We want to make sure that our left hand always, always knows where it's going, so that eventually we won't have to look at this left hand. Then we can look everywhere that we need to have this right hand going, because yes, it's going to go all over the keyboard. And you will have to look from your music back to the right hand. And the trick is not to lose your place. There's no magic for it. You just have to get used to going from here to here quickly enough. And after a while, your fingers will start to feel the distances, and you will start to feel where those notes are. All right, let's go back to the chords. The F chord you should know. The A minor we just talked about. It's pinky on C, thumb on A. And you can write it C and A, because you always want that bottom one to be the first one. C, A. D minor is D plus 3, so it's D and F. It's the fourth finger and the second finger. B flat, do not go backwards with your pinky. You go forward with your thumb. Remember that flats are the first black key down the keyboard. The first black key down. If you think of a flat tire, flat tires go down. So the first black key down the keyboard is the flat. So the B flat is the third black key in the set of triplets. And you're just going to reach your thumb up there. Now look what I'm doing with the rest of my fingers. I am keeping them positioned, even scooting them up into the black keys even more, so that my thumb can just reach across. Or get this guy, oh, here comes somebody else. Get this guy so that you can just pivot with that pointer against that F sharp, against this first black key, and then just do a little twist. And that way you can do a little twist to get your hand right back to position. So you're either going to twist or push your fingers up a little bit and reach it over. So that's the B flat every time. Don't give your left hand a choice. Don't think you can cheat and go backwards, because it's not going to feel good, and then you have to stop and think, which one do I want to play, the thumb or the pinky? And don't do that. Don't ever give your left hand a choice. Let's go to the second line. The C chord is, of course, C. C7, aha. Now, sevens are not in the box. Sevens are above the box, which makes it an optional chord. It's not changing the tonality. What it's doing is it's adding a little spice to the chord so that it feels like it's going to another chord. Sometimes a 7 chord is called a lead-in chord, because it's leading you towards the next chord. So a C7, now there's a mathematical formula for sevens as well. It's the letter, which is C, minus 2 to the left. Uh-oh, looks like I'm going to end up out of my box again. 1, 2. It's C and B flat. Now again, don't go down. Don't play it up here, because then you have to look to get your hand back. So what we're going to do is take that B flat and put it back into the box. C and B flat. See how it now sounds like your ear is waiting to go to another chord? 9 times out of 10 it's F. Now in this case it's not. This is that one time when it's not. You're going to a B flat. All right, so if you're playing C7, do not think that you can get by just subtracting the pinky and that this guy's going to keep playing. It's not. Because what happened? Did you hear a change in the chord? No, you did not. You must completely release both of them and then put the thumb down by itself on that B flat. Did you hear the difference now? C7, release them both, thumb only on the B flat. There it is. Now to go to the C7, you can just add a note. You can always add a finger to change a chord. So you can go from a 1-finger chord to a 2-fingered chord and not have to lift. But you cannot go from a 2-fingered chord to a one-finger chord just by subtracting a finger. You haven't told the computer to stop playing the old chord yet. So you can go from B flat to C7, although you can also just do B flat, touch it and release it, and then play the C7. Whichever way is easiest for you. I know there seems like there's a lot of rules with chords, but if your left hand learns one way only, there's only so many of these that you can learn. There's only so many of them here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 single-fingered chords. Only 12. That's not a whole lot. And then you have 12 two-fingered chords for the minors, and the 7s are optional, so don't worry about them too terribly much. Let's go to line 3. You have the F chord, and then you have what I think is the hardest chord in the world. It is G minor. Oh, here comes Carl. G minor. Now, why is that such a hard chord? Because it's G plus 3 up, 1, 2, 3. So we're still in the box, so we're okay. But now what fingers do we use? That's always the hard part. Your thumb is already on G, so it stands to reason, why wouldn't I just cross over and put my pointer over here? Don't do that, because that's going to be real hard to get back to another chord. So what you want to do is take your pointer, put your pointer on the G, and your thumb up to the B flat. Now this does pull your hand a little bit out of position. So you kind of want to keep these other fingers in between these black keys a little bit so that you can easily get back to regular hand position. So you got to pop that pointer over the black key, thumb on the B flat, and then get back into position. Don't get into the habit of doing this, going backwards to that B flat. It might seem like it's easier, but in the long run it's not. So do me a favor, try to learn that G minor with your pointer on G and the thumb on the B flat. Your fingers will thank you. Your fingers will thank you. And remember, don't go home and say, today I'm going to learn all my minor chords. Learn them as they show up in a piece of music. And yes, we have a lot of them in this piece of music. All right, let's continue with the chords. We have another C7 and the last line of the first page. You have an A minor, which we've already learned. It's C and A at the same time. Then you have an E, which is just one finger. It's the third finger on the E note. What if you want to play the E7? What's the rule? 2 that way. 1, 2. So it's D and E, fourth finger, and third finger, D and E. And that just kind of makes it easy to go from here to here to here. It's just a nice little, you're toggling between those two chords. Or just play E, that's all you need. Let's go to the top of page 59. There's that A minor, E7, A minor. Ah, now you have a D. Fourth finger is on D. If you wish to play the 7, it is the letter plus 2 to the left, 1, 2. It's C and D, pinky and fourth finger at the same time. Or just play D. Uh-oh, there's that crazy G minor again. G minor is pointer on G. You have to move that pointer from F over to the G, and the thumb goes up to the B flat. Try to keep these other fingers in these black keys so you can pivot and get back to position. Now, G minor goes to C7. Guess what? It shares a common note. Here's G and B flat. C7 is C and B flat. Oh, Glenn got let out again. So you can, if you wish, just leave your thumb on the B flat and move the pinky down to the C. Remember, you can always add a note, but you cannot subtract a note in order to make a chord sound. Now the rest of the chords on the page should be exactly the same, because popular music is written in patterns, and it usually is 8 measures at a time. and then everything repeats. All right, so let's take a look at the song. 1, 2, 3. Remember, a measure is everything between these bar lines. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Aha! So the first part of the song is 8 measures long. Then what do you see? Repeat dots. 2 dots, a thin line and a thick line. That means it's going to send me back someplace. If you use your highlighters, it will actually make life easier. I'm going to just mark my repeat dots in a highlighter. Don't use a permanent marker because then it goes through the page and it ruins your music on the other side. So just use a highlighter. Pink is going to take me back to where? The beginning. Now usually there's another set of dots facing forward. If there are none, it is assumed, and it's to save ink, that's the only reason, that you are going back to the beginning. So you want to take that highlighter and just mark in front of the 4-4, or I should say between the 4-4 and the note, so that your eyes will go from here to here quickly. So you're going to play the first verse, the second verse, and then this next part is called the bridge. The bridge is the one part of the song that doesn't match anything else. It's lonely rivers flow to the sea, darling, so it goes, some things are meant to be. And what happens when we get to here? It goes back to those 8 measures that we had at the beginning. So if you practice this really well, you already know this part. You already know that. Pretty cool, huh? Music is repetitious. Okay, now let's take a look at the right hand. You thought the left hand was hard. Ha ha ha. No, actually, this is just a very wonderful song to learn a lot of things and learn them slowly. Remember, one thing at a time. Let's take a look at the right hand. You have half notes, half note, dotted half note. And you know the song, so guess what? Don't try to count it. Play it the way it feels. Play it the way you sing it. You will be 100% right, I promise you. Line 2, you have a tie from a half note to a dotted quarter note, and it's blacked in, so that tells me I don't lift my finger. Now remember, the dotted quarter note gets a beat and a half, so that's 3.5 beats. And then, no, it's actually 4.5. It's 3.5 beats, and then here is your last beat. Your last half a beat. Your last half a beat. All right. And you have something really bizarro here. This is the one that really gets people in trouble. You have 3 quarter notes with a bracket over the top and a 3. That's a quarter note triplet. All right, so what's the dealio with triplets? There are 2 kinds of triplets. Now remember, you don't have to learn this all in one day, but if you do, that's fine. And I did have this on a symbols sheet that I also gave out to you. First of all, here's a quarter note. A black note equals 1 beat if the bottom number is 4, and yes, the bottom number in my music is a 4. That equals 1 beat. 2 eighth notes equals 1 beat. 3 eighth notes tied with a flag and a little bracket with a 3 is an 8th note triplet. That means 3 notes get the space of 1 beat. And those are very easy to play because you just say the word triplet, 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 triplet. And it's very easy to get the 3 beats in 3 notes in 1 beat. Now, this one's harder. You have a half note, white note with a stem, gets 2 beats. That would equal 2 quarter notes, also gets 2 beats. So 3 quarter notes tied with the bracket over the top of them with the 3 is called a quarter note triplet. And guess how many beats it gets? 2 beats. Now, how do you count that? Don't even try. You'll drive yourself crazy because that second beat is going to come somewhere in the middle over here, and you're going to drive yourself nuts trying to make it perfect. So don't even worry about it. Now, if you can't do a triplet, if it's too hard to feel it, you could play, this is also 2 beats, 1 quarter note and 2 eighth notes. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. Or you could have 2 eighth notes and 1 quarter note, that's also 2 beats. Bum, bum, bum. So if you play your quarter note triplet like one of those, guess what? It's okay. It's absolutely okay. So how do you transition from choosing one of these to going to one of these? Here's how I like to think of it. If you put a string on those triplets and gently pull and just try to keep them coming as even as possible, that's kind of the mental image that I get. I get that image of taking a string and just pulling them through that time so that they're as even as possible. They're probably never going to be perfect, never. So don't worry about it. Just play them the way it feels because you do know the song and you will be right. And if all you do is play one of these, bum, 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 or bum, 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 you're going to be right. So no worries. But that's the difference between a quarter note triplet, which is 3 notes in the space of 2 beats, and an eighth note triplet, which is 3 notes in the space of 1 beat. These are the slower ones. The quicker ones are easy. The slower ones are hard. Those are the hard ones. But since we know the song, it's going to be pretty easy for us. What else do we have? Oh, we have eighth notes here. You have 4 eighth notes all tied together. They do that to make grouping and counting easier for you, so don't worry about it. Play it the way it feels. Here you have a tie. You have a quarter note tied to an eighth note, and then you have to come in on a note in between the beats. Again, don't worry about it. Play it the way it feels. You're going to be fine. And eighth notes by themselves just have a single flag. Eighth notes together get tied together, or they get tied together. But those are all eighth notes. Any questions at this point? We just learned a whole bunch of stuff. Good thing we're not taking an exam, right? No worries.
Dawn,
Yes.
are you gonna play this for us so we can get a feel of how? Because I haven't heard this song in years.
Oh, yes, most definitely. I would love to play this song. I am playing on a Lowry Easy 4 today, and I can play this on several different rhythms. Any of your smooths, the pianist, the full band, the guitarist, they're all fabulous. I'm just going to play it on the full band, which is going to give me 64 beats a minute, which keeps it nice and slow. Or you could also play this on rock pianist, and we'll play it on that one too, which is more like an Elvis Presley background. So all of it works, and keep it slow. The only thing you can't play it on is a waltz. So here we go. Go back to the beginning. Verse 2. Fourth line, like a river. slower than that. It's a slow song, and take this song apart in sections, 4 measures at a time, 8 measures at a time. And just,
Thank you very much.
you're
I
very
got a sense of
welcome.
it now. Thank you.
Yeah, you remember it now. This is a
What,
nice song to play. This is just a beautiful song to play.
I
It
like that.
is one of the harder
Dawn,
songs.
what's your background on?
I'm just using smooth full band, which is easy 4/4. It's like your soft and easy with no variation. Soft and easy with no variation. But this one works on so many different things.
Now, what's the tempo?
What's your tempo?
What's a good tempo?
64. 64 beats a minute. Now you can take it as slow as you want. You can slow it down even more. And I highly recommend keeping it slow while you are working on it. And if you have a problem hearing, the smooth is not one of the best backgrounds for hearing a beat. It's there, but because it's such a smooth rhythm, it's very difficult sometimes to hear the beat. So what you might want to do is put it on a country, which really gives you an easy beat to follow. You can pretend like Willie Nelson is singing it. And I think he did. So practicing, definitely I would keep it on something that helps you keep the beat. A big band or a standard will also help. And remember, slow it down. That's an easy beat to hear. Measures at a time. So find the rhythm that works the best for you to help you. Let your instrument help you. And then later you can put it to the smooth 4/4. That's a harder drum to hear because there's not that much going on, and there's not that much of a bass player going on either. It's called smooth for a reason, obviously. Now, what other backgrounds would work? Anything except the waltz, because the waltz is going to count to 3. If you want it to sound more like Elvis, you want to go to, on these instruments, it's rock pianist. Let's slow it down to 64. Now, if you came to my easy workshop a couple of weeks ago, I taught you how to turn pianist and guitarist into full bands. Put your drums all the way to the top. Find your lower. Turn on an ensemble at least. And then you might want to add the organ button so that you have a bigger sound. And you might also want to add some harmony. So that's more of an Elvis background. On the larger organs, it is ballad with no variation, also known as 50s love songs. 50s love songs if you have style set up. Just go to 50s love songs. And I'm going to add some harmony. Let's add a duet. Questions so far? Nope. Okay, get your pencils out. We're going to put some fingering in. Now remember, do it in pencil because sometimes your fingers don't like to do what mine do. And remember how specific I am with this hand. This hand is a little different. This hand is whichever fingers are comfortable for you. So you can be a little bit more flexible with this. My fingering that I give you is just a guide to get you started in order to make everything easier. That's all it is. It's just a guide. You can erase mine and put your own in if it's better for you. So let's start. F equals 1, That's your thumb. C is 5, F1. G2, A3, B flat 4, A3. G2, C1, D2, E3. Now here's one, you better watch this one. F is 1, and it's a circle because that's a thumb tuck. If you don't do that, you're going to run out of fingers. G2, A3, B flat 4 for your triplet. A3, G2, F1. Then you go back and play it a second time. Now, put a check mark at the begin, either at the end of this line or at the beginning of this line, because we're going to move our hand. We're going to take our breath, a breath with our hand and move it. So now, like a river, we're going to have to stretch our hand from a low E up to a high E. So you're going to need to stretch that hand. E1, A2, C3, E5, D4. And if you just leave your hand pretty much right here, you can play the whole thing. E1, A2, C3, E5, D4. And one more time, top of the page, E1, A2, C3, E5, D4. Some things are meant to be. That is the hardest two measures in the song. C3, C3, A1, C3, A1, B flat 2. Why do I say it's hard? Well, in the first place, you have to hold this C and come in between the beats, but your chord is going to be not on a note. So while you're holding a note, you play the chord on beat 3. So it's going to be chord, note. It's complete independence of hands. We haven't had too much of that yet, so watch that. Your chords are usually on a 1 and or a 3. A 1 and a 3. Not always, but for the most part, it's pretty steady Eddie. Your chords are on 1, 3, 1, 3. But your notes aren't always going to do that. That's why you have to have this hand so automatic that you don't have to look at it and you don't have to think about it. All right, let's continue. Line 2. It's exactly the same as what we did at the beginning. F1, C5, F1. G2, A3, B flat 4, A3. Third line, G2. C1, D2, E3, F1, circle it, that's a thumb tuck. G2, A3, B flat 4, A3, G2, F1. Check mark. Now we're just going to repeat the last 4 measures. C1, D2, E3, F1 with a circle, thumb tuck, G2, A3, B flat 4, A3, G2, and F1. Okay, questions? Did I lose anybody? Did you get it? Okay, if you are, yes, go ahead.
Daun, I'm sorry. Could you, repeat line 1, page 2?
Yes, with pleasure.
Actually, the last, yeah.
The last 2 measures? I'll just do the whole line.
Yes.
E1, A2, C3, E5, D4. C3, C3, A1, C3, A1, B flat 2. Anybody else? Nope. Okay. Very cool. Now, if you're close to your instrument, hopefully your iPad or your phone or your computer is close to your instrument, I want you to try playing this along with me, one hand at a time. Now, yes, if you can get it, Go for both hands, but if you're not there yet, one hand at a time to make sure that it's comfortable. And seriously, if chords are an issue for you, because I know you're going to go home and practice this hand. I know that's what you do. But the left hand is a tough one to practice. So take advantage of the fact that you can play along with me right now with that left hand and really focus on the chords. Hopefully you wrote in which fingers go where. And focus on where those chords need to go and releasing, touch and release, and just make sure your fingers have these chords. The more you do it, the easier your chords will become. And this is hard to practice chords, and it's just not that much fun to practice chords sometimes. So take advantage of the fact that you can play along with me. So if you, and do not put on a rhythm, only put on the easy button. All you want to hear is this. You want to hear the hum. That's it. Because if your organ is making a beat and mine's making a different beat, you're going to be completely confused. So just put it on the easy button if you're going to work on the chords with me. All right, let's do, I'm going to put this on country. I'm going to slow it way down. You guys leave yours just on easy. I'm going to take it even slower. I'm going to put it at 60. I'm going to count to 4. And then we're going to start playing. If you're just doing chords, good for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pointer on F. A minor. D minor. Thumb on B flat. F. Second line. C or C7. B flat with the thumb. F. G minor, F, C or C7, F. Go back and repeat those 8 measures. Let's do the bridge. A minor, E or E7, A minor, E, top of the page. Second line. 1. Okay, you know where you struggled. If you didn't struggle, yay! If you did, and I expect some of you did because there's a lot of new stuff going on here, just take 4 measures at a time, 8 measures at a time, and just work it. It's a song that everybody loves, and if you can get something like this song, you're learning 5, 10 things in this song. Now, again, if you only learned one thing today, yes, then you are 100% successful, and the next time you play it, you can pick up a second thing. So no worries. Let's try it again. If you want to play the same hand, go ahead. If you want to switch hands, go ahead with that too. I'm going to count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. the beginning. Two, three, four. One, two, let's go to the bridge like a river. Second line. Two, three, four. Two, three, four. Tuck your thumb. Okay. Any questions? Yeah, it was fun, wasn't it? Yeah. Did you learn one thing today? Yeah. If you learned one thing, you are 100% musically successful today. And if you learned two things, woo, give yourself a real big pat on the back. Any
Dawn?
questions so far?
Yes, Dawn.
Yes.
On the Rialto,
Mhm.
when I'm playing the song, it and try to put on harmony. The harmony comes on automatically, upper and lower.
Okay.
So I put
Okay.
duet.
That means that you are getting a full sound up here. Just by playing one finger, you're going to have the whole harmony being played with you, and you're going to get the full sound down here because the Rialto also has that harmony that can go on the bottom keyboard as well. And yes, sometimes it will set you up with the harmony right off the bat. Now, that being said, when you are practicing, if you're playing the correct notes and you have the harmony on and you play a wrong chord with your left hand, guess what's going to be wrong? Your note could be right, but your harmony is going to be all messed up because the harmony follows what chord is being played with the left hand. So when you're first practicing, even though you go to song setup and find it and turn it on, you may wish to go up to your harmonies and turn them off. Just turn off the harmonies while you are practicing so that you only get that single note.
Okay.
Okay? And then once you have it, then put those harmonies back in and you're going to hear how gorgeous it's going to sound because it's just going to fill out and make it a big, fat, thick sound that you're going to love. But yeah, it can be a hazard when you're practicing. Does everybody understand that? Does everybody understand where the harmony comes from?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Perfect, because next week there are no regular Zoom classes, and I did forget to announce this yesterday too. Oh boy, no regular Zoom classes. It's on the calendar. It's on the Google Calendar. Robert has all kinds of fun stuff planned for Zoom for the week. Now, all the in-store classes will be the same. So if you are coming to the store to take classes, it will be the same. But the Zoom classes 1 week off. And come to all the Zoom classes that Robert has scheduled. By the way, I am doing one on Wednesday next week, and it will be at, I believe it's 3 o'clock our time here in Florida, which is noon, so you don't have to get up so early, Miss Mary. And it's going to be all about features on the organ. So harmony will be one of the features that we talk about. And you can learn everything there is to know about harmonies and all the other wonderful things, the features that pretty much all the organs have, so that you can look at your own organ and say, aha, where is my feature that does exactly that? Lots of songs, lots of good information. So that's what's happening next week on Zoom. And that's just my portion of it on Wednesday, and I'll have some special guests to help me.
Great.
hmm So that'll be a fun week, and it's actually marking our 1 year anniversary doing Zoom. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
I never in my life would have thought that we'd still be Zooming 1 year later, but here we are, and actually, I'm
This is
enjoying
good
it.
to go
I
back.
hope you are as well. I think it's a wonderful thing.
I do too.
Getting back normal again.
So no regular Zoom classes next week.
Correct. No regular Zoom classes next week. So we will meet again in 2 weeks from today, and we will do Hey Good Looking. Yeah. Hey Good Looking.
Well, that's okay, because we learned 2 things today. We can take off next week.
Oh, yes, that's exactly true. If you learn 2 things this week, you can take a week off. No, Robert's already got the week jam-packed with all kinds of wonderful things going on. So watch your emails, watch your schedule, and just enjoy all the fabulous stuff that's going to happen education-wise, concert-wise, with stuff going on to celebrate 1 year on Zoom. Woohoo!
Yay.
Yay! Yes. Yay. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
We will see
Have a
you
good
next
day.
week. Don't forget to email me if you have any questions that you either didn't feel like asking, or you didn't think about it yet and you've thought about it later. Go ahead and email me 5028@fletchermusic.com, or go to your personal assistant, give them a call, give them an email, and everybody's always more than happy to help you. That's what we do.
Okay, thank you.
You guys are the
you.
best.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Go to the beach.
Have a
Have a
nice
wonderful day.
Have a nice
Bye-bye.
day. Goodbye.
Bye.